My rules is I don't do coffee or drink dates. Now, I understand that some women like this or prefer this because it's a quick turnaround, 30 to 45 minutes. If you don't like him, you can get out of there. It works for some people. If you like it, I love it. This video is not for you. Keep scrolling. However, for me, as for me and my household, we're going to have higher standards. I'm talking to this guy, and I'm going to read it to you because we've been talking for a couple days, and he started talking about meeting up. So he said, we should get together over some pear and lychee cocktails soon. And I said, that's really sweet, but I prefer dinner. I like to get dressed up. Now, I always try to say it nicely because I don't want to be like, I don't accept drink dates. Like, you don't have to be mean. You don't have to be, you can be nice about it. But I always just say, I prefer dinner because I like to get dressed up. And he said, I see. What type of places do you have in mind? So I sent him a list of places that I've been like wanting to try, all sorts of different budgets. Okay. It ranges from like medium to a little bit higher, all different locations around the city. So he can choose like what works for him, you know, timing and budget wise. So I sent the list of places. He says, these places sound really nice. I think it'll be fun to get to know each other over some nicer dining options. Here it comes though. But I wanted to let you know up front that if we were to meet at one of those places, I'm comfortable splitting the check. I usually will do drinks or something on the simpler end for the first meetup to see if there's a connection first. So my
To show y'all play by play how I avoided getting used for free food. So boom, I'm arranging the date up here. Let's go get some Thai food Sunday. She agrees. What time? I say 4. And so after I say 4, she never replies. So 24 hours go by. I'm like, whatever, we not even going on this date. But about 4 days later, this is Sunday when she texts me. She said, hey, sorry, I never texted back. Did you still want to go today? I'm like, Because on our first date, she did tell me that she has a problem with replying to text because she replies to it in her mind, but she doesn't, like, she forgets to physically type it. But besides that, I'm either thinking it's that or she just trying to use me for free food. So I'm like, I gotta charge her a fee because replying 4 days later is crazy. So I'm like, if you pay for my meal, then yeah, we can go. So down here, she laughs, she say, you're funny, guess I'm staying home. And I just hearted it. I ain't argue with her, I just hearted it. Any girl that genuinely likes you, she would not have a problem paying. I would have been such a goofy to go out on that date and still pay for the whole thing. And I don't got any other girls I'm talking to. I don't got a roster. I just stand on what I stand on. And you see, I hearted her message too. I ain't go back and forth with her. And this is why y'all be getting played and hurt in the end, because y'all be dealing with people that don't really like y'all for real. Only date people that show you high levels of interest. People with high interest in you are consistent. Person that really likes you, they will do things without expecting something in return.
Motherfuckers be like, pick the girl who picks you or like who likes you. Nigga, she ain't all that, nigga. You don't think I would have done that already? Like, shorty that's playing games is really my top model. Fuck out of here. All of a sudden, I gotta settle for less on looks because a bitch fiending for me? Do we not know what a fan is? I'm good.
Hey yo, e aí, preto hermano. Você sabe que é bom. Now in this one, I hope you guys were able to sit through the first 3 minutes of the video clip because I'm going somewhere with this one, right? And on my channel, I always put the 2K clips in the background, and that's only for the guys who might actually watch the video from a computer screen, or maybe you're watching on a cell phone, and that's for guys who might want to be entertained. But honestly, my videos are designed for you to listen to, right? Not actually me providing a visual, even though I do. But if you look at my older videos, I use the picture of Carlton Banks or Tom from Boondocks, and I use those guys for a reason. But I put that in my older clips because, you know, my channel is designed for you to listen to. Maybe you lock the phone, you go in the kitchen and cook, maybe you at work or something. Again, I'm trying to help out black men with their listening skills. A lot of us have a hard time listening. All of us know, but a large percentage of us for sure. And, you know, some guys you're hard of hearing, you have selective hearing because of Keisha, the way you've been trained. So you hear what you want to hear and you skip over the facts. Just like Keisha, she hears what she want to hear and skip over the facts, even though she might hear something that might hurt her feelings, made her feel some kind of way, and then she forgets the bigger picture, right? So again, black men, I'm helping out with those listening skills. Now, if you look at the first clip, right, I talk about that female all the time because one thing about her, right, I made the one video clip on my channel a while back, man, maybe 2 summers ago, 2024 or 2025. But I called it She Wants Control. And that's what black men we're used to. We're used to Keisha taking control over the dynamic between us because a lot of black men, we operate from a place of scarcity, right? And I'm not going to focus too much on her, but where I'm going with this clip is, again, you saw how she took control, right? Even though the guy invited her out for what she call it, pear and lychee cocktails, she told him, listen, I would rather go out for dinner. She said, listen, we need to have higher standards. Even though she acknowledged the fact that, yes, going out for drinks with a person, 30 to 45 minutes is a quick turnaround. If there's no connection between you and her, okay, both you guys can skate. And listen, not too much time was wasted and not too much money was wasted, right? When you look at that, Keisha, you might say to yourself, oh man, that's one of the good ones as far as on the physical look. Because why? No tattoos, right? She has a nice shape, or at least from sitting down, she's not big. Her arms are not big. Again, even though she could probably put on that fake Valley Girl accent, you know, it is what it is. But as far as that, most black men, you're not dating anything close to that when it comes to black women on average, right? If you look at the last 10 females you've had to deal with when it came to Keisha, I doubt they look anything like her. And now that's not me trying to overinflate her value and say, oh, she's the baddest joint, but females like that are not hyper available when it comes to black women. Let's keep it a buck, right? Those are the ones who you might see dating a white dude, or I mean, she still dates Glocktavius, but most black men going out in public with a black John, again, most black men, you're not with that. Keep it a buck. Just keep it a buck, right? Again, now she's talked about going out for dinner, right? And she gave him a list of places ranging from medium price to high price. What is medium for Keisha? That's gonna be, roughly $100, dude. Roughly. And again, dinner. So it's like, bro, that's why I always talk about they're always trying to extract something. The first link up, and that's why I made that one video clip with the white girl, because the white girl said, listen, our first link up or our first date doesn't have to be us going out for dinner. She said, listen, I will come to the crib and we could do Netflix. You can maybe cook for her, right? Or if you guys do go out, it doesn't have to be dinner. Keisha cares more about an experience that she can benefit from and not actually having a connection or establishing one or seeing if there's some kind of spark. That's why I keep telling you, brothers, you have to move on and get away from Keisha. Your life will get better because they're not playing a fair game with you. Nothing is in your favor. It's like on Prize Pick, man. If you guys ever dealt with Prize Pick, man, going over and under, it's like they got Kevin Durant for 25.5, but yet Kevin Durant only scores 25 points. So my nigga, you just need one more bucket. You can't score that 0.5. You need one more bucket. And it's like he just won't go over. It's just so jacked up, man. But again, that's from the beginning how they get you. By the time you get to that kind of Keisha, I can guarantee your standard is already low. And not because she's unattractive, but let's keep it a buck, right? And I'm going somewhere with this, right? Hold on, follow with me. By the time you get to her, you didn't already have to deal with so much low quality. You like, all right, bro, fuck it. I gotta impress this one. I gotta bag this one. Right? Now, moving into that second clip. Black Ben, I'm going somewhere with this one. Stick with me. Watch this. In that second clip, you had that brother talk about how, listen, Shorty did not reply to his text after agreeing to, link up for the ramen or the Thai food, right? And she replied back 4 days later. I should have put that second clip first and then put the first clip second. But look at this, right? You invite a girl out. She agrees to it. but then doesn't respond to you until 4 days later, black men. Keep it a buck for all the people in the audience. Keep it a buck. How many Keishas have you talked to where you agreed to a link up and she flaked? I'll be honest, yo. I'll keep it 1,000 with you dudes. I can think about one Keisha. Granted, I did crack, but it wasn't about the box for me. I was really interested, right? I invited her out. She agreed to a date, right? Time and the day. I had everything planned. When the day of the link up came or the day of the date came, ghost. I did not hear from her. I'm lucky that, listen, when I did crack, I had to do absolutely nothing. And it was a chick I wanted to crack, so I wasn't too mad at the fact, but bro, this is what I'm talking about. That's the average experience with Keisha. And hold on, me cracking that shorty, that was the only time an interaction with Keisha ever went like that, where she flakes and then I crack afterwards after her flaking on the date. That was a one of one experience. Any other Keisha I've talked to where I set up a date and she flaked, it did not lead to me getting boxed after her flaking on the date. Like that was one of one. But again, most black men keep it a buck. How many Keishas have you talked to where, again, she flakes on the date? That's the average Keisha move right there, right? She told him how she told him how she responds to a text in her mind, but she doesn't physically type it out. What kind of game is this? When she told you that, you should have already known this was gonna be BS. Again, this is what you're dealing with, black men. Before you even get to the chick who is what you would consider your type to be, a female that matches your quality, you're dealing with all those texting games. Not even real games in the relationship. You're dealing with texting games, flaking games, black men. That is what you're dealing with all the way up until you get to a decent Keisha who might be down for something, right? And even she's gonna flake and play the games too. And he also mentioned how any female that's really into you, you're not gonna play all those games. She's gonna cooperate. Listen, by the time you get to that female right there who's genuinely into you, she's low quality. Let's keep it a buck because they rigged it. I mentioned before, at a lower threshold of beauty, black women play those games, right? Their value is inflated, all because she might be decent. A 4, a 5, a 4 or a 5. You're already playing those games with her, right? He mentioned how he doesn't have a roster. So and again, let's keep it a buck, dude. The black dude, it's not like he's deformed, he's missing an eyeball, right? His, like, come on, son. Like, he's just really played the game. Again, it has you thinking to yourself, yo, am I just some grotesque Frankenstein looking dude? Yo, it's not your looks, black man. You're not thugged out. You're not sagging your pants. You don't have tattoos. Again, brothers, they get the dreadlocks because they hope that will help. Again, I got a video about that coming up soon. And what you don't realize is, right, by you not having a roster, this is how black women train your mind. And again, most dudes, what you gonna have a roster of what, 4s? A roster of 3, 4s, and 5s? And the few 5s that you might have on the roster, she bugging? Keep it a buck. You black dudes, and myself included, yo, you're not talking to these Keishas who are 7s, 8s, and 9s. Like, keep it a buck. Keep it a buck. The Instagram shorty with the slim, thick body? No, bro. Big booty Keisha who you could put a couple on top of that ass. You guys not talking to her. Those females are dealing with strictly thugs. If not thugs, okay, rappers. The local rapper, right? It's SoundCloud rapper, right? But he might have some clout in the city, right? If she can, she's maybe getting cracked by an athlete, maybe by a popular rapper or something. Again, those cases are like the Aries and the Jada Waiters, and like, come on, dude, those ones are pretty much untouchable for the average guy. We're just talking about Keisha up the block from you, right? Keisha up the block from you, yo. but she might be a 7. She might be an 8. She might be a 9. Guys are not cracking those on the regular, right? And again, your roster consists of what? 3s, 4s, and 5s. And those same 4s and 5s, they're making it super easy for Tyrone and Glocktavius. So let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. And again, they're playing the game where at a lower threshold, you deal with those games. So over time, even though you want a 9, even though you want an 8, even though you want a 7, you keep on lowering your standard, lowering your standard, lowering your standard. So by the time you lower your standard so many times, you're at like a 4. Just to say, all right, bro, I want to crack something. I want to have an actual relationship. That's the game most black men are playing because you're operating from scarcity, right? That's why I told brothers, yes, we may not be physically on the plantation anymore, but if you really want to get off the plantation because those chains are still around your mind, you need semen retention. That's the only way you can get off that plantation for real. You have to free your mind, black man. When you go long enough without chasing pussy, right? Your brain starts to rewire back to that childlike state, right? Because now you realize how insignificant pussy is. Keisha wants you focused on pussy because that's how she can control you. If she can't tempt you with the pussy, if she can't dangle it in front of your face like a carrot, you're not gonna chase it. But again, black man, because you already been 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, 48 months without box. Like I said in that one video clip, you're being starved out. Black men, you're being starved out. They're pushing pretty much, again, like I said, in their mind, 10% we don't exist. They think most black men outside of the bucks and the 25%, the remaining 75% of black men, you're a simp and you're desperate for black pussy. So again, they push the 75% of black men to that lower threshold, into that lower rung. So now, yes, the 4s, the 5s, not even the 6s, dude, the 3s, 4s, and 5s have an abundance of options. I've been told black dudes, yo, listen, keep it a buck. You go on any dating site, Tinder, BOK, Hinge. Am I missing any? You go on any of those sites, right? The lowest quality quiches on there are ready to get smashed for absolute nothing. I'm talking like the quiche you don't even want to drop in a group chat. Quiche who you don't want to be seen in public with. And I trust me, those quiches are getting smashed, bro. Because they're so open, they're so willing to give the box away. They know someone's gonna take it. I can guarantee you, Keisha, who's a 3, big Keisha, Keisha, who's a 4. Okay, in my personal opinion, a female who's a 4, she might not be big, but face is chopped, right? And even the 5s, they have a high body count, just like the 6. And well, 6 is still kind of on that average tip, you know what I mean? But the 7s, 8s, and 9s, Keisha, who's a 3 and a 4, her body count matches a 7, 8, and 9. Guys are still smashing that. They might not stick with it, but they're still smashing it because why? You have the scarcity mindset. Why? Because you're not on semen retention. Why? You feel like something is better than nothing. You feel like I gotta bust this nut. Pause. You feel like, yo, that's important. And again, Keisha, who's a 3, Keisha, who's a 4, Keisha, who's a 5, even though some of you guys might be happy with a 5, those females look at you as somebody who's above her station. So you're messing up the game the same way how they're messing up the game, black men. That's why a 3, a 4, and a 5 don't want men on her level, right? Because you've been starved out. The guy who's actually above average, you've also been starved out, right? Because you're supposed to be with a 7, 8, and 9. And again, going into that last video clip, like I've said, I've been saying it, black men, my content is full circle. The guy in the last video said, listen, Pick the girl who likes you. You don't think any of us black men would have already done that already? They want you to settle for low quality, all because she's showing high interest. Black women rigged the game that way. Like I said, they've pushed 75% of black men to the bottom. That's why threes, fours, and fives are hyper available. So the female in the first clip, the female in the first clip talking about she doesn't want to go out for drinks. She wants to go out for dinner. Most guys will take up that offer because why? I'd rather spend my money on this 6, 7, 8, 9 than a 3, 4, and a 5 who already has jacked up standards. And again, that same chick who's a 7, 8, 9, even a 6 is gonna finesse you for a dinner date. But they rigged the game that way, black men. That's why I keep telling you, dudes, you're playing a game that you did not realize you're even playing. You didn't sign up for this. You didn't turn the console on and say, "Listen, it's time to play. Pick up the controller." No, they're playing you. They're playing you like an Xbox controller. They're playing you like a PlayStation controller, black man. And I'm telling you, you sit back and wonder, yo, why is Glocktavius getting so much action? Why is Pookie getting so much action? Why is Jay Fizzle getting so much action, dude? Because if you're not willing to conform, granted, real Pookies, real Tyrones, those dudes grow up in the trenches. So by default, that's who he really is. And I've talked about the guys who are gonna cosplay as real Glocktavius. So guess what you do? You conform. You get the dreadlocks. You get the tattoos. You jump in the streets, right? I'm gonna make a video about it, but you'll go on Instagram and post wads of money. You'll post yourself at the club on top of the couch holding up a bottle, right? You'll take a picture in front of your car to show Keisha that you got it. See, they rigged the game so well, right? Just so as a man, you feel like I don't want to be a guy who's being singled out and pushed to the bottom. See, that's how they know they can reach back and always get a good simp because why? Over the years, right, as you're growing up, like I said, Gen Z, we watched this. We've watched this from the time we were young, and the vocabulary to articulate it has been around for a while. Mind you, what they do is because you don't want to be a guy who's singled out, you're gonna work harder to not be singled out. So guess what? You get the dreadlocks, you get the tattoos, right? You get the jewelry. Not only that, you build yourself up career wise. You make the money. You get the vehicles. You get the home, the apartment. You do everything to improve yourself for them, even though they're messing the game up. Where a man of a higher caliber, and we're talking about, see, this is what I'm telling you guys. See, as men, right, we look at a man who's a higher caliber when you have your life put together. Keisha doesn't care about you having your life put together. What they focus on, are you above 6 feet? Do you have the tattoos? Do you have any felonies? Do you physically, right, or in the appearance, do you look like a criminal? That's why you see so many black men conform to that image. And again, it's pushed through gangster rap, it's pushed through the criminal movies, right? And it's pushed as the symbolism. This is what a real black man looks like. That's why in my content in the beginning, right? Every now and then I might throw a video in and I'm gonna find a way to tweak it a little bit. That's why I use Carlton Banks. That's why I use Tom from Boondocks because keep it a buck. That's real black men right there. Carlton Banks never folded. Tom never folded, right? That's the kind of black men I make content for. I don't make content for the guy who feel like, yo, I'm going to be Pookie. I'm about to be Jay Fizzle. I'm about to be Kentrell Morris. You know what I mean? I'm about to rap. I'm about to jump in a block, get a fresh pack, flip it. I'm about to shoot my op. I don't make content for those kind of guys, yo. And like the brother said, I'm supposed to lower my standards all because Shorty's showing high interest. I hold on. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna wrap it up, right? I made a video on my channel and I told you guys how I was on Hinge. I kid you not. This is my word. I went on Hinge. I got 25 numbers. Out of 25, 22 black women played nothing but games. I'm talking about, I'm trying to set up dates. Same thing like that dude, right? They agreeing to dates, flaking, right? Not responding back, taking days to respond back, going ghost, right? And mind you, Keishas who are all my physical type. That's the quality I was actually shooting my shot at. And again, I wasn't at the point where, or mentally, right? Mentally, I was not at the point where the shorty in the first clip had control over me. By that time, I've done the semen retention for so long. I told you guys, there's no way I can go back on the plantation. Once I freed my mind, because mind you, you can't just be around Keisha and not be off the plantation mentally. You're still in close proximity to them. When you go in that grocery store and you see a Keisha with a big ass, you lose control. When you go into the supermarket and you see Keisha who's actually pretty, natural, yo, you lose your mind. See me, I'm always under control around Keisha. I don't care how good she looks. I'm always calm. And they can sense that. They black men, I'm telling you, they can sense that. When they get around you dudes who, you value that big ass, you value titties, you value her face, even though it's covered in makeup, you value that wig, you value the weave, yo, they can sense that all for you. It's in your eyes. Black women can see that twinkle in your eyes, bro. They see the infatuation in your eyes, bro. When they come around me, yo, I'm off the plantation mentally. So I'm already knowing I'm not going to deal with them. They might think in their head, yes, 75%. He's the guy that we put in the 75% category. So he's going to simp for me until they actually talk to me, right? I notice how myself, right? Speaking from personal experience, I notice how Keisha's will give me a shot. But I guess once they realize there's no controlling him, there's no simping coming from him, he's not pressed, they leave me alone. That's exactly how it goes. Because why? I thought wrong about him. I overestimated how much of a simp he would be. And mind you, Keishas who, it's funny how the Keishas who are my type play the most games. And again, let me get back to the whole Hinge thing, right? Out those 22 females, again, all of them played games. The last remaining three, one was decent. She was my type. And then guess what? She played games. She stopped talking to me, ghosted me. And guess what she told me when she hit me back up? She said, I thought you was going to try and chase me. Huh? Huh? You thought I was going to chase you? Even though everything between us was going smooth, talking every day, right? Or as far as texting, we text every day, we FaceTime every day, and then you just ghost me. But you're hoping that I chase you, black man. See, you see what I'm talking about? You're hoping I chase you. You hoping that I double text you, triple text you, even though you ghosted me for no reason. Because that's what they're expecting you to do. Because why? We push most guys into that 75%. And just so you can work your ass off to get out of the 75%, you get the tattoos, you get the dreadlocks. Again, career wise, you build yourself up, you make more money, you get the home, you get the vehicles, you get the 401k. You build yourself up to be a good retirement plan for her. In the words of AC, he called it the reach back. Salute, brother. So you build yourself up for her just so possibly, right, when she's still a kid from your ass, when you get married to her and she divorce you, she take everything. And she did not have to sacrifice to be with you. She didn't have to work for anything. So that's what I'm telling you, brothers, man. Black man, black man, black man. Like I said, dude, let me go ahead and wrap it up. But anyways, semen retention is the answer. If you can't mentally get off the plantation and say I'm done with Keisha, you're gonna always be stuck where you are. Be prepared to accept unequal, unfair deals, right? Because that's all that's awaits you. And it is what it is, bro. That's your reality, right? That's your reality. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I keep skipping over the hen story. Let me finish that real quick. The last two females, and it goes with the last video I showed you guys. The last two Keishas out the 25. Guess what my options were? Fat. Both of them were fat, right? One was fat and chopped. I left that alone immediately. I'm like, really, bro? But mind you, she was down to link, down to go on a date, right? She was treating me nice. I would rank her a 3. And look, the second Keisha, she was treating me even better than the other fat one. I'm talking about texting every day. She wanted FaceTime every day. She was ready to come to the crib and get cracked. I was living on her bus line. That's my word. My apartment was dead ass in front of her bus line. You know what I mean? So I'm like, bro, she said, yo, I could take the bus to your crib. You know what I mean? Oh, you live right there. So y'all can just come over after work. Come on, son. Mind you, Keisha got 2 kids by 2 men, 22 years old, chop, fat. I'm like, really? This is who I can get the best treatment from? A fat single mom who's unattractive? Wow. Wow. And black men, I'm telling you, those same threes, do not underestimate it. Just because you might not take it, just because I might not take it, just because 10% might not take it, those same threes, those same fours, and yes, the fives as well. Trust me, black men, they're still getting cracked. Guys are still accepting whatever they got. I think most black men, you'll be cool with a 5. Be honest with you. Seeing what most black men are dealing with, 3s and 4s, I think most brothers will be happy with a 5. But those same 3s and 4s, trust me, she's getting cracked. Guys might not stick around, but I know how black men think. That's those 2 a.m.s, 3 a.m.s. You feel like, you know what? Oh, I ain't getting no pussy in 6 months, man. Let me go ahead and bust my nut. Let me go ahead and get my rocks off. Like, bro, come on, son. Really? You was better off just going on to the hub and doing the job yourself. Because at least for me, I'm not going to sit here and cap and say, oh, I never dealt with no low quality female before. Before I ever did semen retention, because Keisha's been playing the game for a long time. Before the PS5 came out in the pandemic, Keisha been playing the game. Keisha been playing the game since 2013 when GTA 5 came out. You know what I mean? And let's keep it a buck. I'm not going to sit here and say I never dealt with no ugly female before, no low quality female before, but at least for me, it always affected my self-esteem in a negative way. Because I know I'm better than this. I know I don't deserve this. But again, when you're still thinking with your Johnson, black men, right? And you let your Johnson control your mind, you let your Johnson control your actions, that's what happens. Those same 3s and 4s, she knows she can't deal with you. But she also knows the game is rigged. So yes, a 3 and a 4, she can raise her standard to a guy who's a 6 and 7 and an 8. Trust me, I've seen black men really lower their standards. I'm like, it's bad out here, bro. It's bad out here, bro. And again, like I said, semen retention can get you off that plantation. You might be physically off it, but those chains are still around your mind, black men. You're still trapped. Keisha knows it. That's why they play those games. But anyways, y'all, I'm out. Peace.